approve me, they approve me not. They take my meeting, they send me a refusal to file letter without even looking at the data that I spent $500 million collecting. Thank you for watching my reenactment of the relationship between Moderna and the FDA. It has been a roller coaster. Moderna's trying to get their new flu vaccine approved, which, by every metric that we have, is significantly better than the current flu vaccines you can get at your local pharmacy. But the FDA wouldn't know that because they won't even look at the application. People in the industry are confused and furious, calling this anti-scientific. Some of the top dogs at Moderna even saying that the FDA is a bunch of stupid poopy buttholes. Hey, their words, not mine. So today we're going to break down why the FDA made such a rash decision, and I know the nerds are fighting to bring it back. I'm Matty C, and this is Big Drama in Big Pharma. What's up, nerds? So here's the full situation. Moderna's been trying to develop a new, more effective flu vaccine for a few years now. At the end of 2025, they completed a phase 3 trial, which then meant they were ready to submit this to the FDA for approval. But on February 3rd, Vinay Prasad, the head of CBER, the division of the FDA that manages vaccines and other biologics, sent a refuse to file letter. And in this letter, Vinay Prasad said that the trial wasn't adequate and well controlled because the standardized vaccine that Moderna used to compare to their new vaccine didn't reflect the best available standard of care. It's important to note that Prasad didn't cite any issues or concerns with safety or efficacy. This isn't reviewing the data and thinking that it's bad. No, this is like your teacher taking your homework, looking at it for 1 second and saying, oh, Arial and not Times New Roman? Get that garbage out of here. And this has pissed off a lot of people for several reasons. This refusal to file letter is very rare, really only saved for applicants who have incomplete applications. And it's a way for the FDA to not have to waste their time reviewing things that are clearly not up to their standard. So Moderna, who has been in touch with the FDA a lot over the last few years, actually posted the refusal letter online. These motherfuckers came with receipts. We're not going to read the whole thing, but there are a few notable contradictions that the FDA makes in their refusal letter to what their discussions have been with Moderna previously. In April 2024, Moderna submitted the phase 3 study protocol to CBER for review during a pre-phase 3 consultation. Notably, CBER didn't raise any objections or clinical hold comments about the adequacy of the trial design at any time before the initiation of the study in September of 2024. Now, this study was done by August of 2025, and here's where things start to get suspicious. CBER asks for extra supporting data, claiming that otherwise they could have significant issues during the full review of this new vaccine. Moderna happily provides those data, claims to be at least 27% more effective at preventing flu-like symptoms than the comparators that they used in this study. Again, the comparators that the FDA agreed they wanted to see, which is significantly better. And at no time in the pre-submission written feedback or meetings with CBER did they indicate that it would refuse to review the file.
So that was a fucking lie.
And it's not just Moderna that's pissed. The whole scientific community is pissed because everyone knows that has nothing to do with the science. The report saying that head of the biologics division, Vinay Prasad, overruled agency reviewers in rejecting the application. That's right, the head of the biologics division abused his power and overruled the experts who were actually in charge of looking at the data. Total scumbag move. It has all to do with this guy, RFK Jr., the most powerful anti-vaxxer in the world. Should be no shock to you, but RFK Jr. does not like the types of vaccines that Moderna makes. mRNA lipid nanoparticle vaccines, or mRNA-LNPs. All it really is a little piece of mRNA, the string of connected nucleic acids or building blocks of genetic material that codes for a flu virus antigen. An antigen is just a protein that signals to various immune cells, hey, get that garbage out of here. Lipid nanoparticles are a meticulously crafted ball of fat that protects the mRNA on its journey from the tip of the needle into those necessary immune cells to initiate an immune response. mRNA-LNPs are at least as effective and as safe as your more standard vaccine technologies, the things that have been around for generations. Now, although RFK Jr. isn't directly involved in approving new vaccines, he does have a lot of influence in how the FDA reviews certain technologies. He's always hated mRNA-LNP vaccines even before he got into office. And since being in office, he's removed $500 million worth of funding from their research and manufacturing contracts. And he's constantly been in Vinay Prasad's ear, telling him to make it difficult to approve new mRNA-LNPs. Not a lot of people were expecting Moderna to bounce back after receiving this refusal letter. Analysts from RBC Capital Markets even said that they struggled to see a scenario where the current FDA leadership reverses its course. But most of the nerds did not give up yet. Top experts in the field begging the FDA to reverse their decision to not review Moderna's application. People in the industry know not to blindly demonize mRNA-LNP vaccines without seeing the data first. Now, usually having a meeting to reverse these decisions takes 30 to 60 days to process. But this one? Less than 7 days. In less than a week, the FDA sat down with Moderna and agreed to review their application. Suck it, idiots! The FDA now has until August to actually review their file, to actually give the data a chance, which is excellent news. Regardless of whether or not you like the technology or not, you have to give it a fair chance. You have to review the data objectively. And sure, you can debate the nuance. Maybe you interpret studies differently, but you can't just flat out say, no, I don't want to look at it. Now, obviously, this doesn't make everything magically better. There is still lots of time for the FDA to review the data and still come up with some BS reason as to why it's not effective enough or not safe enough. But it's at least giving the greater biotech and biopharma landscape a glimmer of hope. It has been very inconsistent, to say the least, over the last year, but it's always good to see that the good guys will come out on top and will fight against this anti-scientific government interference. Hell yeah, nerds. Hell yeah. And if you want to see just how it all plays out, you know what to do. I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. We could talk about nerd drama all the time. It'd be super sweet. Thanks for stopping by, and you stay classy, nerds.